All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show at Levi's Stadium after the 49ers held practice here today on Tuesday. Now, it was almost like a tale of two practices. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. So get there early, get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right, today's practice was like two different practices. Brock Purdy came out in the first part of the practice and just totally dominated. He looked incredible. He hit Debo on a touchdown pass down the sideline. Debo beat Isaac Yiadom. He had a perfect dime to CMC. He had a really nice pass to Kittle on a long crosser or deep crosser down the field. And Purdy looked good early. He began 8 for 8, and the deep ball touchdown to Debo being the highlight of the first half of the practice. Then he finished 2 of 8 and threw 4 picks in the second session. So 4 interceptions in the second session for Brock Purdy. So, I'm not going to be the guy who is going to be like losing my mind because Brock Purdy threw camp picks. To me, throwing interceptions in camp can be a good thing because it can help a quarterback kind of figure out what he can and can't do. But there's all kinds of different picks. There's the really bad ones that are caused by pressure. There's the random tip ball that pops into the air that almost is not the quarterback's fault at all. And then there's just, misreading of coverage or if you're don't have enough on the fastball and trying to squeeze it in a tight window. 3 picks yesterday for Purdy, 4 today. I wouldn't say it's a huge deal, but it'll be worth monitoring in the days ahead. They've only had a couple days early in practice, and maybe he's just getting used to it. But he has thrown 7 picks in 2 days. Tanner Mordecai had a really nice throw today on one play in the middle. That was the first time I've seen Mordecai throw any passes in this camp. Diamador Lenore said on KMBR this morning that Brandon Staley is like the Kyle Shanahan of the defense. He says he's a genius. And then kind of expanded on that after practice, saying that Staley has really already made several pointers to him that he's been able to utilize. Kyle Juszczyk told me after practice that Cody Schrader has really impressed him, that he's really impressed by Cody Schrader, and that this running back room that the Niners have this year is the greatest running back room that Juice has ever been in. And I thought that was lofty praise. So think about that. That's CMC and Juice. That's J.P. Mason, Elijah Mitchell, Patrick Taylor, Isaac Guerrero, and now Cody Schrader, all in that running back room. He says it's the best running back room he's ever been in. So that was cool to hear. Nick Bosa practiced today. Was his first day in pads. He did get stonewalled, believe it or not, by Colton McKivitz in the one-on-ones. I thought McKivitz did a really nice job. He was also practicing today, CMC, Juszczyk, Jake Brendel, Bosa, all guys getting the rest day yesterday, all practicing today. Jordan Mason continues to shine. He just looks great. He's big, he's powerful, he's in great shape, he's running through this defense. They have to figure out a way to get Jordan Mason more run this year. As I said, Brock Purdy, it was like the tale of two practices. Started off hot, he was ripping it, looking great. He was 8 for 8, and suddenly he throws 4 picks and finished 2 of 8. As far as how he reacted to the struggles at the end of practice, I don't know. Juszczyk was asked about it, and he said, I didn't notice anything. I didn't look at Brock after practice. Dominic Puni, the rookie from Kansas, was used in the pregame to hype up the crowd, and he did a good job of it. And then Puni's been running with the ones at right guard. So with the injury to Spencer Burford, who's got the broken hand, you got to think John Feliciano and Dominic Puni will battle for the starting right guard job. And maybe Puni gets it. Maybe Puni gets it. As I said, the defense dominated the whole second session. Demo had his pick six. Ji'Ayir Brown had an interception. Ambry Thomas had an interception that he took back against Dobbs. It was a long practice today, really long practice. Oh, we got our first brawl, by the way. We saw a brawl today between Jarrett Kingston and T.Y. McGill. They brawled in the middle of practice. I'll say this. T.Y. McGill's under some pressure to make this team. It's not it's not a given that he makes the team. There's Evan Anderson, there's Shaquille Brown, there's really three or four good defensive tackles all competing for one spot. And T.Y. McGill may not make the team, and I think he may be feeling the pressure and it may be getting to him a little bit. But Jarrett Kingston is not a guy you want to fight. I mean, Jarrett Kingston's just got these huge, ridiculous arms. And he's a brawler. I mean, you can kind of tell. And Kingston and T.Y. McGill were going at it. And then this was not like a little pushing and shoving this wasn't like a baseball, brawl. This was like a full-on guys throwing blows at each other's face masks. And, man, there were some good blows being thrown there. It's funny how these football fights come up. They almost always happen at the exact same time. Where I mean by that is, it's usually not before the pads come on. It's usually not the first day of pads. It's usually day 2 or 3 or 4 after the pads come on. These guys start to get short with each other, and they start to, feel like they're getting, maybe taken advantage of, or maybe somebody's hitting late, and you mix in some heat and some pressure and some stress, and all of a sudden, hands are flying and these brawls take off. But it almost always is after day 2 or day 3 of pads being on. I think that's just the natural order of things. Guys get sick of each other, and it's time to fight. Anyway, today, Jarrett Kingston and T.Y. McGill mixed it up, and it was a good one, man. And I would say you want no part of Kingston. I mentioned before that Colton McKivitz had a really nice day. He won some of those one-on-ones against Nick Bosa. I thought that was impressive to watch. Overall, I would say Fred Warner dropped an easy interception. Could have been another pick. Instead of being 5 interceptions, could have been 6 interceptions today. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be lots of people talking about Brock Purdy's interceptions. I don't put tons of credence in camp picks. I mean, he threw picks last year against the Raiders. He had almost a near MVP season. They went to the Super Bowl. I think it's time for us to kind of pump the brakes on any kind of camp quarterback assessment because you try things in practice. You test your boundaries. You try to squeeze it into a tight window. You try to make a play. You throw late into the middle of the field. You do some things that you wouldn't do in the game. The other thing that is standing out in this camp to me, and I think it has to be mentioned, the 49ers have a tremendously talented young secondary. And it's kind of sprouted up out of nowhere. You think about this team and you think about they've had this great defense and they've always had issues in the secondary. But now at safety, you've got Ji'Ayir Brown, great young player. Hufanga's an all-pro type player, young player. Malik Mustafa is a tremendous young safety. So you got 3 really good young safeties. And then Mooney Ward is not old. Lenore is very young. He's like 24, 25. You brought in Isaac Yadam. He's looking good. Rock Ya-Sin looks good. You have Darrell Luter. You have Womack. You have Ambry Thomas. They have a collection of really good young DBs. The Niners have right around 10 good young defensive backs. So that could wind up being the real strength of this football team is the secondary. Lenore looks like he's primed for a big year. Mooney looks like he could have a big year. Ji'Ayir Brown looks like he could have a big year. Mustafa is just absolutely a revelation. He is incredible. I didn't even mention Renardo Green. Renardo Green had a couple good plays today. So what stands out about this Niner team on the defensive side of the ball? They're stacked in the secondary with all kinds of really, really talented guys, both at safety and corner. All right, that does it for the recap. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to all of our supporters of the Krug Show. Hit like and subscribe. And thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.